Welcome back, guys. So today we have the heart of the beast here. This is a Iron Block 6.0 Gen 4. Did the math on the there's a number back here. Check that out. We had to do a lot of scraping on the block to get to that number, and you can't see it now from with the camera, I'm sure, but
yeah, it won't focus.
It's like the last 8 or 9 of the VIN. I can't remember off the top of my head, but what we did is call a Chevy dealer, gave that last 8 or 9 of the VIN, and then had them look up basically what was the vehicle. And they said, well, it's either a 2500 Silverado or a Chevy Malibu. I said, I know it's not a Malibu, so it's got to be the Silverado. 2015 Silverado 2500 Crew Cab Long Bed is what this motor came out of. I got it as basically a core. So we tried to spin it, it's locked up. It won't spin. But the whole deal was it's going to be I'm going to rebuild it anyway, so I really didn't care. I just wanted to get something relatively cheap. I was more after the Iron Block 6.0. The aluminum heads, they are rec port. So this intake was given to me as a gift because we had some issues getting the motor out of the junkyard and whatnot. So the guy was like, hey, you want an intake? And I was like, sure. So I doubt I will use it, but you can see there, it actually got the rec port heads. The number is 823. So those are the 823 heads, rectangular port, which flow pretty good. But this bad boy is, it's crispy. Pull the cover off there and you can see she's seen better days.
And even in the heads you can see there's trash in there, like it won't focus, but you can see it. I mean, but trust me, you can see garbage in there. It's gonna be a rough.
So, plan for today is get these heads off, basically look in the block, see what the cylinders look like, and see how bad it is.
It'll be rough.
Yeah. So we'll probably throw you guys on a time lapse, get these heads off, and we'll get back with you here shortly. You good?
You good? I told you when it was gonna happen.
All right, guys. So we got the valve covers off. We got the heads busted loose. We just have to pull them off. But I wanted to show you guys the valve train here. I mean, it looks okay. There's some oil in there.
Damn. Very nice.
So it looks okay. Sorry about that. There's oil in here. Not great oil, but there's oil nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get these heads off, and then I'll show you guys what we're working with here.
Pull the push rods out while we're looking.
Yeah, they're not the greatest. You see?
Kinda. It's like trying to focus. They're a little crusty.
They're crispy. As is the rest of this motor.
Oh yeah, look at that one. That one's.
Yeah,
that was gnarly there.
It's had a rough life. With any luck, I can reuse these heads in this block. We'll see. Oh.
Oh. Oh. Oh my God. Oh. That's why it wouldn't turn over. It is right crusty in there. God dang, man. I don't know what. Like, look at that one. Look what is all that shit here.
I have no idea. Is that like the piston?
Is it hard or no? Can you pull it out?
No, it's loose.
Pull it out.
It's kind of wet.
Still? Ugh. Oh, definitely machine work in the future.
That is no bueno.
No, sir.
I mean, that's wet.
No doubt it'll sit in the water.
That's crazy. I hope this is still good. A little on the fence now.
Let's pull that one off.
I'm nervous now.
Can't be worse than that, right?
Apparently again. That's bad.
Get your bolt here out of that one, maybe. We'll see what the bottom of the head looks like here. Oh, ooh. The bottom of the heads are pretty nasty. Look at that. They have some machine work. I'm sure it'll be fine, right? Look at that delicious goo on there.
There's nothing good going on with these heads.
Hold on, maybe you take that bolt out, put it on the front, and grab it by this and the bolt. Yeah, don't touch me with those nasty hairs. God damn, man! Get this shit. I don't want that nasty shit on my hands. I gotta go home a little bit. All right.
Ready, Freddie?
Let's see what nastiness lies in that one.
Yeah, apparently we didn't need to vacuum it off.
Yeah, that's what I told you. It doesn't matter, man. Oh, it's just as bad. Oh, it's even worse. It doesn't matter. Is that the top of the piston? Like, what is that? Yeah, that's the top of the piston. Look at that. Look at that shit.
What is that?
Just maybe it's
Like powder?
the salt that evaporated from the salt water where it was sitting.
That is insanity. I mean, I've never seen a motor that bad. I haven't seen a ton of them, but wow.
Yeah.
That's rough. Calling me nervous.
Well, that, my friends, is why this thing would not turn over. You gotta look at the crank next. And flip it over and look at the crank.
All right, so we're ready to pull the oil pan off. Quite frankly, I am terrified. So we're gonna do this like a Band-Aid and rip it off. Go ahead, Chris.
Here we go. Pick up, it's got a pickup in there.
That's good.
Oh, we gotta get the
Windage tray.
Yep. Well, you want to look in the oil pan here.
I mean, it looks, I don't know.
Nasty? I mean, it could be
I don't see a bunch
worse.
of chunks of metal or anything.
Yeah, it's dry.
That is really odd. I don't know what happened to this thing. I am so confused right now. All right, so we're gonna buzz this windage tray off real quick, and then we'll see what's under there. Wow, that is rusty. Man,
What'd you pay for this?
$8.50? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Knowing it's a core.
yeah, it was a core. It wasn't supposed to be a running motor or anything. But I'm like, if I can get away with $8.50 and keep the block and heads, I'll be fine.
Right.
I'll be happy with that. But man, that looks pretty rough.
I think you'll be fine.
All right, so you guys see what I'm seeing. So
Take the rods off and see the hard part's going to be getting the pistons out of there.
yeah, because it's basically seized. It won't turn. So we're gonna have to do our best to get to these bolts here and knock the pistons out, try and get the crank out, and I guess worst case you could just undo the mains and.
Yeah, I was going to say, how can we get to some of these other ones if we can't spin it around?
Yeah, well, we can get enough of them off and knock the pistons loose. We might be able to spin it. So
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do and
Take her in there.
yep. Okay guys, next day, I got the motor turned over, I cleaned it out, vacuumed it out, scraped it a little bit. You can see this is where all that goop was in that one cylinder. And I just wiped it down with some of the Marvel mystery oil there. It's good stuff. And wiped the inside of the cylinders down. And then I'm just gonna take I went and rented a little hone tool from AutoZone. So what I'm going to do is just run the little hone tool in the open parts of the cylinders and then fill them up with the mystery oil. And the point of running the hone tool around there is to basically help it to free up once you're able to, you know, the mystery oil does its thing and you want to try and rotate it. That should free up any of the crap in here to make it easier for the pistons to move in the cylinders. And James Bergman gave me that idea, the same guy that helped us build the motor for Gordon, Chris's 1986 C30 dually. So if you haven't checked those videos out, go check that out. We put that motor together. That was pretty cool. So shout out to James Bergman for helping us out with that. And hopefully he will be here when we actually try and turn this thing over. He knows a lot more about this stuff than I do, so he's a great resource. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna put the hone tool to it, fill them up with the mystery oil, and then let it sit. And hopefully we can turn it over in a few days. So we'll see. Alright, so got the cylinders pretty much filled up as much as they can take them. Or take it, I guess. I may let it sit like this for a couple days or something and then rotate it a little bit, you know, so the cylinders are completely vertical. And kind of let them go individually like that. I already sprayed down the crank with WD-40 on the bottom side to try and loosen that up a little bit, so we'll let it sit for a few days and we'll check back in with y'all when I'm ready to turn it back over. Alright guys, so been doing some work on the engine here. Just going to show you some of these holes here. We actually were able to knock some of the cylinders out. I let it soak in the Marvel mystery oil. You saw me fill it up just vertical like a normal engine sits, and then I ended up rotating it so the cylinders were just vertical, and I just did a bank at each side at a time. Did that for 24 hours a piece, and then we just started pulling the caps off the rods here and then smacking them from the back to get the pistons out. So we got about 4 of them out now. 3 on this side, 1 on the other side down here. And I mean, it's coming. The cylinders don't look too bad. From what we can tell, I'm thinking they'll clean up with maybe a 10 over bore, 20 or something like that, hopefully at the worst, but there's a little bit of rust in there, but I think it'll clean up. So, we're just going to keep knocking these out. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what we're doing without, you know, taking hours on this video. So yeah, we're just going to keep knocking these out, and then we'll show you the block once we get it all taken apart. We can get the crank out and stuff. So stay tuned. Alright, so as you can see, this is what came out of there. Seen better days. Connecting rod. Bearing. This stuff is just from the oil dry on the ground, but it's one of those things. I mean, it's obviously you can't reuse this stuff.
You can see how the rings are all rusted in place.
Yeah, but all I care about is the block in the head. So if I can get the block in the heads machine to, you know, be usable, I'll be 100% happy with that. But yeah, we got 3 more. We're just going to keep beating. And then I wanted to show you or say on the, most people say use like a piece of wood or something soft-ish to knock these out. You know, if you're trying to reuse this stuff, I would definitely say to do that. But in our case, I mean, we tried it, trust me. But it's not working, so we got to use something a little more heavy duty to get in there.
And the big problem with these connecting rods is they got the cracked cap. So as soon as you put something to it and start beating on them, you're screwing up the mating surface. So it prevents it from being rebuilt.
And that's James, Mr. Bergman, I told you about before. So he's here helping out, and we're just going to press on. All right, guys, we got the front cover off. We're basically down to 2 pistons left. That one and that one. So we're basically we can't get to them because of the way the crank is positioned, so we're going to take the cover off, which we did, try and get the cam out, and then try and figure out some way to rotate that crank, or just however we can figure out to get to those pistons. That's kind of where we're at. Lifters, some of them came out, some didn't. Some are kind of stuck in there, so we're going to have to figure that piece out as well. You can see there, James was able to get roughly half of them out, maybe a little less. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to go ahead and pull this, you know, the little oil pump off and everything, get the cam out of there, and see what we can do with that crank. We'll show you the camshaft too when we get it out, just for fun. So, stick around. Alright guys, we got her all pulled apart. Check it out for yourselves here. So, this is probably a bit of a long shot, I'm going to be honest. There's rust in the cylinders. I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me grab a flashlight real quick. Alright, maybe you can see in there better now. Yeah, this thing is... I mean, I'm going to take it to the machine shop just to double check, but... I'll be surprised if they can salvage it. Let's put it like that. That's one of the worst ones there. Right here, actually. Most of it seems to kind of bubble out, not bubble in, so... I mean, there's a chance, but... we'll see. So that's... basically the block is pretty similar. Most of the cylinders look okay to kind of rough like that one. And I got the rest of the stuff over here. Crankshaft, you can see there, is pretty rusty. I mean, it may be able to be turned, polished. Camshaft is toast. This one, like bearing right here, looked really bad. I'm not exactly sure what happened in there, but it was nothing good, I can tell you that. I mean, the rest of them look okay, you know, like where the cam bearings would be, but that one is just trash. So something happened there. I'll let you see a little better into that crankshaft maybe. But yeah, that thing was really rough shape. Here are the main caps. These seem to be okay. Not great, not horrible. I mean, I assume these would clean up pretty good once you know, the machine shop can clean them and then throw new bearings in them. They should be good. Like I said, the main concern is just those cylinders, the rusted out cylinders. So I'm gonna get it off to the machine shop this afternoon, and as soon as I know something, I'll let you guys know. So stay tuned. As always, guys, we appreciate you watching.